What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is a Christmas Day 2024. So, Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Hopefully, you're having a fantastic day and you're spending it with the family. Now, typically, most years on Christmas Day here on the Beer Patrol, I try to review a beer or beers that invoke the holiday spirit, and I think I've done that this year. This is also the 8th holiday beer review for the month of December 2024. And as you can see, it's yet another comparison review, this time of two beers from the Hoppin Frog Brewery, and they are out of Akron, Ohio. And I have their Frosted Frog Christmas Ale and their barrel-aged Frosted Frog Christmas Ale, both of which are the 2024 release. So the Frosted Frog Christmas Ale is an ale brewed with spices, and those spices are cinnamon, ginger, and nutmeg. It comes in at 8.6% alcohol by volume and 12 IBUs, while the barrel-aged version is the base beer aged in bourbon barrels. It also comes in at 8.6% alcohol by volume and 12 IBUs. At the time of review, I don't know exactly how old either of these beers are, but both of them have a best by date of October of 2027. So if I was a betting man, I would imagine they give it a 3-year best by date, which would mean both of these beers were canned back in October of this year. So I'm going to say that both of these beers are right around, we'll say 2.5 to 3 months old, but no older than 3 months old. So full disclosure, I've had one of these beers before, and you probably think it would be the base. No, it was the barrel-aged version. I had it on tap at I think it was a craft beer bar in Ohio about 10 years ago, and I enjoyed it. I thought like the barrel kind of toned down the spices, because the spices were still there, but not over the top. But I never had the base beer, so I couldn't really tell you. And when I saw these two on a recent day trip to the Erie, Pennsylvania and Mentor, Ohio area, I had to grab them and do this side by side. I picked both of these up at Red Wine and Brew in Mentor, Ohio, and I'm really looking forward to this. Essentially, these are two winter warmers. One's barrel-aged, one's not, and I am here for it. At the end, we'll do the cuvee, aka the cuvee, and we'll see what's going on. Now, as far as Hoppin Frog goes, I think they make some solid beers. They're hit or miss, but I've always liked their Boris and Doris. The Crusher line always was a fantastic lineup, in my opinion, when it comes to big like imperial stouts. And I did enjoy the barrel-aged Frosted Frog Christmas Ale, but never had the base, so we're gonna give it a go. So I'm gonna pour out most of this and then save some in the can. Do something like that. I'm going to save a little bit for the cuvee, as you do. Throw this over here, put this over there. It's definitely fizzing down like a soda pop. And now we have the barrel-aged version. And both these are quite fresh. Again, they say you can age them for up to 3 years based on the best by date. So I'm hoping to enjoy both of these. Yeah, that should be good. If it's not, oh, I spilled a little downside here. I don't like it. I don't want to be losing any of this potential deliciousness. So anyway, I'll throw this over here like that. So the head's gone on the base. As I said, it was fizzing away like a soda pop. The barrel version, still kicking out what you need here. So let's look at these. How do these look? Well, it's probably going to look very similar for you on camera. In person, the barrel age is like a half a shade darker. It just has a little bit more of like, this is more of like that kind of like burnt red color into like a, yeah, it's just a deep like copper color into like, yeah, I don't know how I would describe that color. Almost like a deeper cherry cough drop color. But this is just slightly, ever so slightly darker, especially towards the middle. They don't have a lot of clarity to them. They're definitely murky and turbid. Not super, but like, you know, you can tell that it's unfiltered. Both of them have a thin film of this straight up beige colored head that is now dissipated, like I said. Look like it had some pretty decent carbonation, but they look very similar, I would say. Like there's nothing crazy about them, but at the same time, I'm trying to see if you guys can see the Grinch, but you know, at the end of the day, like I try to get the Grinch in here on all these holiday themed beer reviews and it's tough. Anyway, let's get a nose. That smells good. Oh, I'm getting like a big cherry in this. Oh yeah, it's like a sweet, like I'm glad I said this looks like a cherry cough drop, like a deep dark cherry cough drop, because it has a big cherry note to it. There's a little bit of vanilla, caramelized sugars, and then the spices are playing on top of it. And I'm getting mostly, what is that? I'm getting clove, and I don't think did they say there was cloves in here? I'm getting clove. Cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg. Nutmegs, I was going to say nutmeg number 2. Yeah, I'm getting like a clove. That's kind of wild. This smells reminiscent of something. Smells like a spicy cherry pie. I can't believe how big the cherry note is in here, and I don't think there's any cherries in here. It has like a nice like dark bread kind of vibe. This has almost fruitcake qualities. It has that cherry note. You could probably say some other like dried fruits, like maybe a plum, a date, something like that. Plum, fig, datey. But I'm just getting a sweet, like dried cherry kind of note. So I'd say brown bread, some molasses, other caramelized sugars, dark fruits, but more in that sweet cherry realm. And then I'm getting clove for some reason, probably because my palate's horrible. But I'm definitely getting the am I getting that though? Hang on. I think the nutmeg is kind of dominating, and the cinnamon and ginger are kind of canceling one another out. I don't know. It smells really good. It smells quite spicy, but that cherry note, I like that cherry note. I wasn't expecting that cherry note. All right, let's go in for the barrel-aged version. Yeah, it's exactly like that beer, but there's this nice, subtle bourbon character or whiskey character that's kind of blanketing the whole thing. Yeah, touch of vanilla and oak. This actually had more vanilla than this, but the vanilla in here seems to be coming from the barrel, kind of because it's kind of combining with the oak. There's a little bit of that bourbon. I don't have to spend much with the nose of this one. It's like you took this beer, put it into a barrel maybe for like 2 or 3 months, and that's what you got. So the preference in the nose would be whatever you're in the mood for. If you want a little bit of a bourbon kick, this. If not, you go with the base. Kind of interesting how this definitely, to a T, is that beer. Wow. Now, they're both 8.6%. They had, for a long time, I don't know if they still do in Ohio, they have archaic alcohol laws where you couldn't, I think it was you couldn't make a beer and sell it over 11.9. So some breweries would, when they barrel aged it, they would just keep the ABV the same on the label. They'd be like, oh yeah, this was barrel aged for a year, but it's the exact same ABV as the base. Anybody believe them? No. Or some people would be like, oh, they're not using wet barrels. Listen, I'm pretty sure this would go up maybe a little bit percentages, maybe a little bit. A lot of breweries would also bump up the base beer to kind of, match the barrel. So, because barrel aging has a tendency to thin out beers. I highly doubt this is the same ABV, to be honest. This is definitely a little bit higher, I would assume. But we'll see when we taste it. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. I am right now. Cheers. That is an interesting flavor profile. What is that? Spices definitely come through on this. This is drinking like a liquefied fruitcake with a splash of tart cherry juice. Like if you ever drank I haven't mentioned this before on the channel, but I occasionally will drink tart cherry juice, good for inflammation. It's like you took that, but you spiced it up and then you blended in a fruitcake. It's pretty interesting. Body on this is medium, maybe a touch over medium bodied. A little bit thin for 8.6. I'm okay with it. I don't need this big, viscous, chewy body. I think it's big enough where it's not super thin. I'm okay. The mouthfeel is interesting. Has a moderate carbonation. It's quite smooth on the palate. Not really creamy. I'd say body and mouthfeel are good. Not anything spectacular, but good. The taste, exactly what I said. It's fruitcake meets tart cherry juice with some accentuation from the spices. So up front, I get a lot of brown bread, marble bread, something in that realm. Passes through that, you know, tart cherry juice kind of vibe. You could even say like just a cherry note as a whole. It's not really that sweet, but then after that, I get other dried dark fruits. I'm even getting like a little bit of like a dried like apricot, maybe pineapple, things you would normally see in a fruitcake. Even a touch of nuttiness in here, but you know, I'm probably stretching for that. Yeah, and then it finishes with this nice, in order, I would say clove, nutmeg, and then like a cinnamon, ginger kind of vibe. Again, there's no clove as far as I know in here, but at the same time, I'm getting clove. 8.6%, a little warming in the chest, nothing on the palate, so that is kind of scary. Turn on the Grinch over here, even though I probably can't see him. Gotta make sure he's on at all times. This is a good like winter warmer, you know, a Christmas ale, whatever. It's not blowing my socks off. I didn't expect it to, but it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. That's where I'll leave it. It's pretty sweet and complex for the most part. Now I'm getting a little bit like an iced tea quality. It's a very slight, which is kind of different. I like the fact that it's sweet up front. It's pretty. This is firmly dry in the finish. Not much bitterness to speak of. It has that drying spice character. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good Christmas ale. Nothing to write home about. I don't think like, personally, I don't think that I would like seek this one out every year like some of the other ones in Ohio that I've had, like Great Lakes Christmas Ale, for example. But I do think it's pretty damn solid. So let's get into the barrel-aged offering. Merry Christmas once again. All day. All day long. Wow. That barrel aging just adds a layer of complexity, but much needed, I think a much needed layer of complexity. I think that this needed something to make it pop, to make it kind of stand out, and that has happened with this beer. Body mouthfeel. It does seem a little bit thinner than the base. Again, because it's barrel aged, it thinned it out a little bit. Where this is like medium, a touch over medium, this is firmly medium. So this is slightly bigger than the barrel aged version. The mouthfeel on both are nice. Approaching moderate carbonation, still smooth on the palate. This has a little bit more creaminess to it. And then the taste, again, much like the nose, this is a very simplistic beer to explain because I've already explained the base. It's everything in this, but on the second half of the palate, like the last quarter of the palate, there's this beautiful vanilla and oak combination that rides on through the end. So in the base where you're getting that drying kind of spice effect, that's happening here, but then a vanilla oak kind of presence hits it. And there's a little bit of like the spirit itself. I get a little bit of like a caramel, a spicy, peppery kind of spirit. But for the most part, vanilla and oak really do hit on the finish. And I think the reason why I could tell you this is the winner right from the get-go is because that is the lingering flavor, is that vanilla kind of oaky, spicy finish. This also isn't as dry as the base, has a little bit more residual sugar. Both of them have a very mild bitterness at best. If you're someone who doesn't like bitter beers, I would say that you really have no issue here with either of these. But if you don't like dry beers, you might have a little bit of a problem. But the barrel aging one kind of smooths everything out. I think the barrel aging has smoothed everything out, kind of rounded out the edges and made it a little bit more drinkable and flavorful. I do see some nice glass lacing. Anyway, there's not much more to say about it. 8.6% they say for both. Neither of them really stand out on the palate as far as like an alcohol astringency, any ethanol. In the chest, they're both warming. As I continue to drink both of them, obviously it becomes warmer and warmer as I drink it. I don't think the barrel age is like significantly more, boozy than this going down or anything. I think they're very similar. So let me go back into this for one more sip just to see. I'm not going to cleanse my palate. We'll just go back. I still like this. This is a nice beer. It's just not blowing my socks off. And after having the barrel-aged version, I would reach for the barrel-aged version 9 times out of 10 over this. Even if I really wasn't in the mood for a barrel-aged beer, I think I just would prefer that from a standpoint that the flavors are better and it kind of rounds out the edges and it's not as drying. It's not like super sweet. Neither of these are like overly sweet to me. They're both, you know, sweet in their own right, but like it's not cloying or anything. All right, so the preference is the barrel age. Now let's get into the rating here. So Frosted Frog Christmas Ale from Hoppin Frog, the 2024 release. I'm gonna give this, we'll give this a straight, we'll go low 4 out of 5. I'll go 3.95. I think that's a fair score for this. I can't quite give it a 4, but it's not far off. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what I would need from this to be. It's a somewhat of a complex beer that's still slightly boring. I don't like. Is that a bad thing to say? Like, you guys can tell I enjoy this one. I just, you know, I've had many Christmas ales or many winter warmers, American winter warmers that is, that kind of taste like this. So, you know, it's not like standing out from the crowd, but it's not a bad beer in the least. So, you know, I think it's fine for what it is. 3.95 is a pretty decent score. And yeah, I think that's nice. All right, so the barrel aged version, however, let me just one more sip here and then we'll figure it out. Yeah, it's much better. It is. It's just much better. I'm going to give this a, we'll go low 4.25. I'm going to give it a 4.15. So, you know, almost a quarter point better. I think the barrel aging has just, again, that added complexity, makes it more flavorful, rounds out the edges, tones down the dryness a little bit, and just makes it a better beer. So this would be my preference all day, every day. The barrel age Frosted Frog Christmas Ale 2024 release, 4.15 out of 5. Shout out to the train going by. You probably can hear it. It's wailing on that horn. Yeah, crazy. Anyway, we are going to do a cuvee momentarily. Let me first talk about the price points. So the base, I checked their website because I don't remember what I exactly paid for these, but their website where you could like order and pick stuff up and I think deliver through like the state of Ohio. The base 4-pack of this, 12 fluid ounce cans, $16.99. So $4.25 for that can. It is 8.6%, but it's 12 fluid ounce can. Meanwhile, the barrel aged version is $8.99 a can on their website. So, you know, what do we're talking definitely more expensive, basically twice the price, more or less, a little bit more than twice the price, but it is a slightly bigger can. I'd reach for the barrel aged every year. But if you're somebody who like picks up a 4-pack of this, I totally get it. But I would much rather have the barrel aged version, no questions asked. I'd rather have the barrel aged version, a 12 ounce can, and then that in a 16 fluid ounce can. It's kind of like backwards, but this is like a special release. Probably sell it by the single, so I get that. The availability, it's Hoppin Frog. I have no idea outside of, we used to see them here in the Buffalo, New York area and West New York as a whole. I really don't see Hoppin Frog stuff that much anymore. I picked both of these up at Red Wine and Brew in Mentor, Ohio. They had, you know, both of them, and I was like, I'm not gonna mess around and see, you know, if it's local, if I miss it, then I can't get it. So I just got them there. And yeah, I'm happy I did. This was a fun side-by-side, especially for Christmas. And now comes the fun part. We have the cuvee, aka the cuvee. I am gonna try to pour. Okay, that's not a ton. It's not a ton, as you saw, but we'll see if I'm able to kind of mix and match here, but that's probably about equal. So what we're going to do is we're going to cleanse the palate and try to give this a proper review. So what does it look like? Both of the beers. I don't have to talk about that anymore because it looks like both the beers. We're using the Mortalis glass. Nose. Smells like wet dog hair. Don't know how that happened. And I washed, when you see reviews from me, I always wash my glasses in advance, whether it's an hour or two beforehand. This smells like wet dog hair. No idea. Wash all these at the same time. All right, it's starting to dissipate. No more wet dog hair. It actually smells like the base beer with a little bit of the barrel aged version, more so than like the barrel aged version being toned down. So interesting. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody, and Merry Christmas a third time. Now, I like them each on their own. This is kind of weird. It's not bad. It's just, it's almost like it's stale, like stale spices. Like yeah, I'm glad I only did a couple ounces. I want to drink the rest on their own. This is not a good cuvee. I gave this a 3.95, that a 4.15. It's like a 3.3. Like this, I don't know how that happened, because you would just think that it would either tone down this or bump this up a bit. That's what the nose was indicating. Nah, the taste, nah, definitely not. Nope. Nope. Grinch, the heck we doing, buddy? Turn on one last time. Hey. You didn't want to turn on. I know it's Christmas, buddy, but you got to figure it out. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to shut this one down. So, like I said, Merry Christmas to everybody out there. If you watch this substantially long review, I appreciate it. I've thoroughly enjoyed the holiday beer reviews this year, especially dressing up with the crazy ugly sweater, the Santa hat, the Grinch, trying not to swear in the reviews, making them more family friendly. Like I said, next year I'm going to get some lights perhaps behind me, maybe some decorations, whatever. We'll see. We'll definitely do something a little bit more festive. But I just appreciate everybody. I say this, pretty much every single year around the holidays, on Christmas Day and New Year's and whatnot. But I do appreciate everybody who has supported the channel over the past year. It's been a blast. From all the beer mails I received to all the comments, the views, the subs, everything. I do appreciate it. And we're going to try to make 2025 even better. Got some cool things lined up. I got a new camera that I should be using, hopefully starting next month. I'm going to try to introduce, blind beer tastings, get the blind beer tournaments, the blind beer style tournament off the ground. Hopefully introduce Viewer's Choice Cellar Sunday, and just make the channel a bit more diverse and better as a whole. And we'll see what ends up happening. But I really love having a beer tubing channel. I love all the interaction, and yeah, this is awesome. So there's 3 holiday beer reviews left for this month. You will see them over the next week. And yeah, I can't wait to get into the rest of the beer. So once again, Merry Christmas, everybody. Hopefully it was a fantastic Christmas. You got everything you want, and you just had a beautiful holiday season, because that's what it's all about. So gonna shut this one down. Appreciate it. To the next one. Cheers.